Good morning. Hi, everybody. It's Sunday morning. I am Michael, and we have a few minutes before we begin. A couple of minutes, actually. Hi there. So we have another minute and a half before we begin. Just signing on early to allow you to sign in yourself. Good morning, Ruth. Good morning. Oh, I'm going to do some stretching while everyone's signing in here. Good morning, Steph. Good. The regular crowd is shuffling in. It is 8 o'clock, but I'll wait another few seconds. All right, we ready to go? Is your neck all loosened up so you can do your meditation? Well, hi. Let's see. I wanted to talk to you about the power of meditating in groups or with others. There's been a lot of studies on this, and I'm going to morph from that into some other things. But I wanted to bring up community. When you can, if at all possible, gather a group of people together, and they don't even have to be in the same room. And that's actually been researched, and with all the expectations met that they had thought might occur. Actually, they didn't even know what would occur when they did this research. But if we focus in on one thing, all of us, the vibration that we create is powerful, very powerful. So there is a book called The Power of Eight, written by Lynn McTaggart. I think she is Australian or from New Zealand, and I think she lives in the States now, but she's done a lot of research, a tremendous amount of research, and has written a lot of books, and has found over and over that doing meditation on the internet like we're doing now has proven to be so effective that it was statistically significant, which means that they can publish it. So what I'd like to do today, when we get to it, is have us all focus in on one thing, and with the purpose of creating an effect. Okay? I'm going to introduce a word to you that you may never have heard of. I have never heard of this. It's called homothumadin. Homothumadon, D-O-N, homothumadin. And it's in the Bible 12 times in the book of Acts. And it's a Greek word, and it has a number of meanings, but they're all within this small, narrow range of meaning. One of its simplest meaning is with one accord. It's also been translated to be with one mind and with one passion. So when it's been used, it's been used to get across the message that when you go into prayer or into meditation, your job individually, and then this affects the collective, is to have singularity of purpose with a great deal of passion. So years ago, 2 decades ago, within the last 2 decades, Greg Braden took a group of people to Tibet, because he used to bring people on these trips to the Himalayas and to monasteries. This is before China took them all over. And he took a group of people to Tibet, and they went to a monastery that was way up in the Himalayas, and it was seldom visited. And while walking through the courtyard to eventually go into the labyrinth of tunnels, they noticed, and Greg in particular noticed, a group of monks and nuns who were in prayer. But their prayer looked like this. They were moving and shaking. And Greg was kind of taken back, and the group went into these tunnels, and they happened to run into the abbot of the monastery. And they had a translator with them so that they could talk to the other monks, but they ran into the abbot. So Greg started asking questions, and one of the questions he asked was, what were they doing out there? And the monk replied, wow, that's a good question. Most people ask, how's the weather here? And he proceeded to say, they were in prayer. But then he paused, but then he went on, he says, feeling is the prayer. So I've read from the book, Feeling is the Secret. Well, here's an abbot whose long lineage in the Himalayas, he says, prayer is all about feeling. It's not up here. It's got to be here. The entire body has got to be in prayer. You got to do it with such fervor, with such passion, with such intensity that you're tingling, you're vibrating. So for those of you who get off on sports and seeing some amazing athletic performances and you get tingles, that's where you need to get to. Pick an avenue. It doesn't have to be sports, but think of something that gets you so excited that you actually tingle. We've talked about this before, that it has to become visceral. Your body is your barometer. Your mind controls the body. You have to get into it. So Lynn McTaggart has found that, and her book is called The Power of 8, and the reason for that is she started out her first meditation, worldwide meditation on the internet, had something like 11,000 people. And then her second one had like 2 or 3 or 4,000. And she began to realize these were too unwieldy. This was too big. And she wanted to get it down to manageable sizes, and it eventually worked out where 8 people would get together all throughout the world. And since she was doing this on the internet, it was all throughout the world. So these people would get together, focusing on one thing, and the act of focusing seems to be so important in community that not only was the recipient healed, but close to 100% of the time, all the participants were. Her conclusion in this book is that you are better off giving rather than just approaching something to be the recipient. Because if you are the giver, you have to be the receiver. Okay? Now, I'm going to read to you from The Great Within, because you don't just close your eyes and do it. You got to, as we've talked about, you got to raise your vibration. So, to live constantly, this is from The Great Within, written in 1907. To live constantly in the spirit of gratitude is not only to remove worry, but the cause of all worry. To be grateful for the good that is now coming into life is to open the way for the coming of greater good. This is the law. And she who daily is receiving the greater good has no cause for worry. Yeah, it's real commonsensical, right? She will even forget that worry ever had a place in her mind. To constantly impress the subconscious mind with mental sunshine, don't you like that? Is to establish the tendency to live on the bright side, the sunny side. And to live on the bright side is to increase your own brightness. Very simple concepts here. Your mind will become more brilliant. Your thinking will have more lucidity and clearness. What I just read, your mind will become more brilliant, your thinking will have more lucidity and clearness, has been proven through research. This was 1907. They've only proven this in the past decade. Your personality will be in more perfect harmony with everything. Your life will be better, your play will be better, your work will be better. Everything will improve. Therefore, by living on the bright side, all things steadily become brighter and better for you. When all is dark, the opposite is true. When all is dark, everything seems to go wrong, because everything goes wrong, because your attitude is filled with dark. So when all is dark, arouse all your energies for the purpose of impressing and directing the subconscious mind to produce the change you desire. So when you are in despair or the depths of despair, you gotta turn it around. You gotta change it. Give the deepest possible feeling to those impressions that are uplifting, and have stronger belief than you ever had before. Continue persistently. So we're going to do something in a little bit. But when you're down, it's many times hard to bounce up. If you're practiced at it, it's not hard to bounce up. You can just change your mind, change your feelings. If you're up right now and you've been up for a while, then practice getting higher and higher and higher. And I'm not talking about smoking marijuana. I'm talking about meditation. So that if in the future you get in a situation where your energies are lowering, you know how to. You have a tool in the toolbox to bounce you up, okay? So continue persistently until the great within, the I am, begins to respond. You will then feel from within how to act, and you will be given the power to do what you feel you should do. Before long, things will take a turn. The calamity will be avoided by the coming forth of that power within you that is greater than all adversities, all troubles, all wrongs. And instead, this power, having been awakened, will proceed to create a better future than you ever knew before. So, before we go into a full-on meditation, I want you to take a moment right now and just notice what you normally think and feel. What is it's actually called a default mode mechanism. It usually pertains to your ego. What's your default mode? Where are you? When you're just going around cleaning the house, doing the dishes, walking outside, doing this, doing that, and you're not in all right, I got to meditate type of mode, what are your thoughts? Are your thoughts uplifting? Are they neutral? Are they downward spiraling? Take a moment. Maybe you know right off the bat. But if you don't, figure it out. And if you cannot figure it out right now, you're going to do this down the road. So I'm giving you some time. What is it I normally think? What are the stories that cross through my head? What do I allow to be entertained? Oh, that's great. Or, oh man, I got to change that. Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to focus in on one object, one point of focus. And I want to say the leader of our country, but there's so much hatred towards that guy, and I'm guessing even in this group. And you may not call it hatred, that I don't want to pick a topic so controversial, yet that would probably be the best one. And I wish I had your feedback right now. So let's direct our energy towards a person There's such a diverse group out there listening in right now that unless I pick someone who's known, you're not going to know. All right, so before we do that, one of the things that we have found out is when a group of people does in fact meditate on a single point of focus, a person or a plant or an animal, even if the people who are sending the energy outwardly don't know the recipient or where that person is or what that person looks like, it doesn't matter. Anytime that an electron meets another electron, for the rest of the life of the electrons, there is a connection. Okay? Any person you've ever met, that means walked by. Uh-oh, your circle just got huge. You have an impact on that person. Okay? So the reason I'm telling you this is so you can be cognizant of the fact that your thoughts have an impact, not only on yourself, but on those around you. Okay? So the sender, the recipient, and the observer all have an impact, all are impacted. So let's do this. We'll send things out. All right, I just read. Let's send out that our leaders, plural, be given the proper wisdom. Okay? Not your political bent, not your way of thinking, but they be given wisdom. Solomon asked for wisdom. He became the most wealthy person who had ever lived on this planet to this day. Okay? He didn't ask for riches. He asked for wisdom. Wisdom means you have knowledge, understanding, and discretion. So let's put that out there. Close your eyes. That the leaders in this country, at all levels, tap into the band of knowledge and understanding, that band of wisdom that is a potential for everyone to touch. That they take a moment to raise their energy level. So that they may increase their awareness. If it's easier for you to pick a singular person, do that. If you can work on the collective, do that. But you're going to raise your own energy. Relax your thoughts. Begin to feel what you feel. Feel your heart center breathe in and out of the heart. Bringing that energy up the spine, through all the energy centers, radiating up and outwardly, creating your own field. When you feel centered, when you feel that your energy has turned on, when your heart has become coherent, you've created your own torus field, then and only then begin to send outwardly this energy that blankets the leaders. Not only surrounds them, but fills them. Continuing to pour forth. Your job is the act of doing this in community. That's your only responsibility. So lift it up and send it out. Feeling an elevated emotion within you. Letting that elevated emotion carry that intention. Feel it in your body. Feel it streaming off of you. Feel the beam of light moving through you and out of you. coming from your heart, changing your energy. When you change your energy, you change your life, you change and impress those around you. Whatever you broadcast into the field is your experience with destiny. So instead of relying on a memory of the past, create a vision of the future. Instead of relying on a memory of the past, create a memory of the future. Becoming that very thing. Becoming that very intention. Opening up your heart and beaming outwardly to affect change. To draw from the field and influence in an uplifting way. Stay with it. When the mind wanders, bring it back to the point of focus. This is important work, but you do it with a smile on your face. Come back. Come back to your seat. Maintain that energetic level. But be conscious of where you are. There is no finish. There is only a constant flow. Stay in the flow. Stay in the zone. When we do eventually sign off and you get up and you start walking around and mingling with others, stay in the flow. Keep that smile on your face. Feel the joy in your heart. That's where we all individually want to go, need to go, can be at that place or in that place, always. If at any time today you want to take a moment and send it out again to anybody, do that. There is enough evidence now, not only with just a few people, but with lots of researchers and scientists around the world, to tell us that what you just did worked and works. The more people we have involved doing this, the more energy. And it's harder, the more energy, the more difficult it is to resist it. So the recipients feel this, and they are not even conscious of it. It's very subliminal. But do not think it doesn't work, and do not stop doing this. Do not give up. Keep on keeping on. Okay? Thank you for your time and for what you did today. Have a great day. Thanks. Namaste.